FAIRtax is coming, don't stand in the way. FAIRtax is coming across the USA. FAIRtax is coming, clean up this mess. We got to get rid of the IRS. Hey, hey! Hey, hey!
Hello, welcome again to FAIRtax Power Radio. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Malero.
And we are
the FAIRtax Guys.
And we are excited. We are about to step into a new venture that we're going to be explaining here in just a few minutes. But before we get going, let's, as we always do, give you our email address, how to get in touch with us, thefairtaxguys@gmail.com. That's thefairtaxguys, all one word, @gmail.com. We've got a Facebook page. You can like us there. You can leave us questions. And so if you'd like to interact with us, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and we've done some several programs based on input from our listeners. You know, they've had some great ideas, some suggestions, some questions. How about we do this? We even found a CPA from Colorado that wrote us a short note.
Short note, 2 pages, single spaced.
Yeah, and he's now doing our webinars. We had some great interaction from some of our listeners, so please keep it up. It really helps the program.
All right, and right quickly, as we always do, or not always, but a lot of times we do here on FAIRtax Power Radio, we keep our eyes on Congress so you don't have to. How many changes to the tax code are being proposed? Of course, as we say, not all of them become law, but this will show you how much your Congress critters love to monkey with the tax code because the lobbyists love to buy tax favors for their...
Yeah.
I still want to know who's behind the one to change the definition of municipal solid waste. That is in the tax code, folks, believe it or not. You can check it out on congress.gov. But you have the latest figures, Ron, on how many proposed changes to the tax code have been made since this Congress came into session, and it is...
1,353. That's for the 115th Congress since January of 2017. 1,353 proposals to change the tax code.
That's how many hits you get when you go to congress.gov and you search on the string Internal Revenue Code. Some of those are resolutions and stuff, so that number is probably a little bit higher than the actual number of proposed changes, but it's still a bunch. Yeah. Averages way more than a change a day. And they get away with it because we're not watching, or the American people aren't watching.
Yeah.
FAIRtax Power Radio is watching for you.
And over the months, we've gone through a number of these things and picked out some of the more unusual titles. They have proposed tax changes that affect every aspect of American life. I thought the tax code was supposed to raise revenue for the federal government. Why are they in there, dictating the type of toilets we use, the type of light bulbs we can use, the definition of municipal solid waste?
Because there's campaign cash involved. That's all you need to know.
There was one in which they wanted to treat racehorses kind of like a truck and depreciate them. Yep.
Okay.
So a lot of these things, anyways, it's ridiculous. And the only way to solve this problem of constant congressional tinkering, is to get rid of the income tax.
And the only way to get rid of the income tax is pass the FAIRtax.
Right.
All right. As I mentioned a minute ago, we are starting out on a new adventure here on FAIRtax Power Radio. We are expanding our horizons a bit. Now, I will admit, I'm an old retired guy. I spent nearly 30 years of my life as a COBOL programmer on an IBM mainframe computer. So I don't know a great deal about all this new technology that's going out here today, but we are hooking up with an outfit called Excluded. And we've got Christian Fabiani here, who is one of the head honchos of Excluded, and he's going to kind of explain what this is all about, but we're going to be actually streaming live video.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing the audio from our streaming sessions are still going to come to Spreaker here on our podcast.
Yep.
So, but as of next week, instead of a new episode at 6 o'clock every Friday morning, we'll be going live every other week at 11:30 on Tuesday mornings Eastern Time.
Wednesday morning.
Well, correct. Wednesday morning. Okay. Senior moment. But we'll be going live at 11:30 on Wednesday mornings, and then the following Wednesday we'll be doing, there'll be one in the can for that. So we'll be on live every other week. We'll be able to take callers, kind of like we do on our Facebook Live. We haven't got the telephone capability on that, but we're going to have that here. So we're really excited about how this is going to work. So, Christian, explain what excluded is and how people get to it.
Well, I just wanted to take a moment. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on the podcast here. And we are really excited at Excluded to have you guys joining the team with us. I just want to let you guys know that. I feel that from someone in the millennial generation, I know that's a interesting word if you say. I mean, from both sides of the aisle on that.
You're less than half our age here.
Oh, exactly. Us millennials out there in the world. No, I mean, there's a lot that most people in my generation have no idea about. And the reason is we just haven't been taught, and we haven't had the time to sit down and have it explained in a less diluted way. I mean, a more diluted way and less. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at these Rubik's Cubes, and and I see several variations for obviously we're listening right now, but next week you'll actually be able to see these on the actual video vlogcast, if you will. That's where we're moving into the future. But that's really what it is. You take this 9-sided Rubik's Cube and then you bring it all the way down to this 4-sided, and that's what the FAIRtax, to me, from what you guys have been explaining to me, represents. And that's something that we're at Excluded want to create a voice for things that aren't being pushed out there. And the best part about Excluded is it's a private video label. It's going to be available on all smart devices, from your iPhone to your Roku to Amazon. You'll be able to download it. It's a free trial, and then we'll do a subscription base for further more in-depth broadcasting. But from the onset, you will be able to view it. We're also going to be able to have the capability to broadcast to Facebook Live, and that's where you'll be able to actually see this video cast on the onset at the national Facebook page. The National FAIRtax Facebook page will be broadcasting this live every other Wednesday, and we'll have a recorded show every other week. And on the live broadcast, you'll actually be able to call in and ask the FAIRtax guys here questions that you might have. We're going to set that system up. But the future of broadcasting, coming from radio, coming from the podcast, and going out into the intergalactic, outer galactic, as one of our other hosts, Ward Scott, likes to say, the capability is really where everything's going. And it's kind of taking the ball and putting it in a neutral court, if you will. So that's what we're really excited about at Excluded. And me as a producer, just lining up several different shows that kind of have a voice of what Excluded is about. A new voice for freedom is what we're kind of branding ourselves as. We've got a lot of different informational things. We're a lot of 1A, 2A. Representation, and that's kind of what I've heard a lot of you here at the FAIRtax Guys speak about is unfair representation.
That's right.
I mean, that's what it really comes down to, right?
Okay, well, $64,000 question. You're folks sitting here listening to the podcast. How do I get Excluded? Where is it? How do I get it?
It's very easy. So what you do is you just go to your Apple or smart device, you hit search, and you go to Excluded. That's Excluded.
That's just like the word, but without the E in the front.
Exactly.
It just starts with X. X-C-L-U-D-E-D.
Absolutely. That's it. And you type that search in there, and it'll be available. The live portion is coming shortly. This is very cutting edge, folks. We are actually in the process of setting up with a white label company, and we've got a great video backbone that we're going to be able to broadcast from Gainesville, Florida, and the Big Daddy Studios, powered by Excluded. Live to all the smart devices. The best part about this is the way the future is going. Everybody says radio is dying, and I say it's not. And the reason I say that is
because I'm an old radio guy,
right,
and I'm
exactly.
not ready to give it up yet.
I just say to those fat cats out there with the cigars saying, "Man, see, radio's dead. See, it's just transforming." It's just transforming. As you all know, every other smart car that comes out with practically an iPod in the dashboard. Yeah. So if you have a smart car with a smart device, you can download Excluded to your smart car via your smart device. And I recommend not watching obviously. But you can certainly let the family watch if you have the smart televisions going live.
Yeah, put that on the video screen.
Yeah, exactly.
In the back seat on the minivan,
the passengers, or if you happen to be an Uber or Lyft driver and you want to inform your Uber or Lyft passengers about fair taxes, feel free to go ahead and let them watch in your car.
There you go.
As we all know, all smart devices will be carrying these, and as Wi-Fi becomes more abundant and more apparent, and also just the ability to have 4G, you can certainly watch or listen on the go. Part of the downloadable, and you'll actually be able to get a subscription to Excluded for $3.95 coming in the future, where you'll be able to take the FAIRtax Guys on the road with you. So that's part of the subscription base to it. But of course, you'll be able to do the free trial. You'll be able to listen live once everything kind of comes to fruition within the next month or so. Yeah. But from the onset, everything will be broadcasting live via Facebook that you can view in HD even. One of our guys, Ward Scott, actually had to add a makeup department, coming in HD and live. But yeah, it's going to be on Facebook. You'll be able to watch that every Wednesday. That's the whole part of this, is a consistency to where we'll be able to answer the questions that your audience base has. And that's something that me as a millennial, I'm very excited to be able to have shows like this that aren't necessarily getting the outreach, and that's where we feel needs to be less excluded, if you will. No pun intended there,
Well, you guys have come up with some amazing graphics and video support for this show. People need to tune in next Wednesday live, and of course, once we go off the air live, we'll still be doing the 30 minutes. But these will be archived, so you can watch them later if you need to. Absolutely.
It'll be on the site. We're going to have a site that we're building out. And the videos will, of course, be logged on the national site always. You'll be able to reference those every week on the National FAIRtax site. And you'll actually be able to go back and watch the videos at any time. The Spreaker will have the video, of course, if you want to just listen, for those who might not have the best Wi-Fi capability out in the more rural areas.
We'll be streaming the audio from these video sessions to our, that will become our Spreaker podcast, and that's why we're having to change from 6 a.m. Friday to 11:30 Wednesday for when the new ones are available.
Yeah, because we're doing it live.
We're doing it live, and of course, if you're on that, we'll have a phone number we'll give out.
Yes, sir. We're gonna be working on actually having people be able to call in. We're actually expanding our call board to where we'll be able to take questions. Of course, as the tax season comes around, everybody says it's only June or whatever, and I'm like, well, you know what? The other couple months comes real quick, right?
Well, actually, if you're self-employed, April 15th comes 4 times a year. You've got to send stuff in and estimate it. It's just a mess.
See, these are things that I didn't even know about. What? I'm just saying.
So yeah, and of course, just tax returns drive you nuts. We've got, Ron and I both have fairly simple ones. We've talked about this on FAIRtax Power Radio before. But to go through the software, whether it's TurboTax or anything else, something similar to it, just to step through the software, because it has to ask you so many questions that it took me over 2 hours to make my really simple tax return. Yeah. That's 2 hours I'll never get back that the IRS has taken from me, and I want them back.
And most of that time is spent filling out the parts of Schedule A.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, only to find out when you're all done looking up all these figures and filling out all of Schedule A, congratulations, you qualify for the standard deduction. All those figures that we asked you for on Schedule A, sorry, we don't need them actually.
You just wasted the last hour answering all these questions. That's kind of what we're trying to get rid of.
Let's review this. This is why we're calling this the new and improved FAIRtax Power Radio. We still have the audio portion is going to Spreaker.
Yes.
And Spreaker
that will distribute to iHeart, iTunes, and everything
iTunes,
else that we're already on.
You'll still be able to get it on iTunes, iHeartRadio.
Yes,
it'll still Spreaker will still automatically send it to YouTube, and it's really an audio with a fixed picture. I mean, it's not really a YouTube video.
Yes.
On top of that, Excluded is going to send it to
Facebook and then the Excluded app itself. So that's where the things are, really kind of, we want to broaden the horizons of your reach. And that's what we're doing at Excluded. The idea is to be powered by Excluded, allows any smart television, any smart device to be able to view the show when it comes up. For the onset, you'll actually have to go ahead and just watch the recorded show on Excluded, but you'll be able to see it live on the national Facebook page, which I think you guys have quite a base on there. 100,000 viewers there, friends and followers. Yeah. So I really hope that as we go on, they'll be spreading the message that you guys, and kind of our motto is, if you can't see it, you don't know it's there. So that's what we're really trying to bring to the forefront, is the vlog video cast gives a face to the message. And there's no better way to do that than to actually put on the HD camera, throw on the lights, and put you guys out in the intergalactic, outer galactic, as we like to say here at Excluded.
Now, I hear you talking about this kind of still being under development. Exactly where are we, and how long is it going to take you to get to full development and ready to go stage?
Full development, you can't hold me to it just yet. I've got a couple larger entities just above me, but they're letting us know it's right on the horizon. So a few weeks, but like I said, Facebook, it will be live there, and it will be going to the website, and you will be able to actually view it live on the website, and that's going to be the easiest way. You'll be able to see it on Excluded. We're just double checking all the ins and outs, making sure all the connections are locked in to the Excluded app, and we've been assured that it will be coming shortly. But we all know how shortly is in the grand scheme of things, So, but that being said, it should be within the summer, definitely within the summer, and we're very excited to roll you guys out in our beginning package of programming on the Excluded platform.
There's an old saying amongst us old computer programmers that a carefully planned project takes twice as long as you originally figured to complete. A carelessly planned one takes 4 or 5 months longer than
exactly. So we've been doing our diligence to try to get everything up and running, and of course the best way, like you said, doing a bit of pre-planning, we can get shows going on the Facebook page via our platform, and start building the audience and letting them get used to more just seeing you guys as well as hearing you guys. So that's what we're trying to do is as a rollout plan, a soft opening, if you will, as in a restaurant term. You often use those. So.
And we're grateful to Americans for Fair Taxation, too, because they're letting us send the Facebook Live to their Facebook page, which has a much broader reach than the FAIRtax Guys. I mean,
we're working on it.
Yeah, we can copy it, and when we're done, we can share it to our page. But FAIRtax Official, the Facebook page of the Americans for Fair Taxation, has a much broader reach than ours. So we're going to get a lot of people taking a look at this every other Wednesday.
Of course, our area of expertise and interest is getting the fair tax done.
Absolutely.
But of course, folks have other areas of interest as well. What other kind of programming besides fair tax is going to be on this Excluded?
Well, we're kind of we're basing it around kind of a traditional broadcasting standpoint, more from a vlog radio to video transfer. So we're doing talk shows in the morning. And then as we build out our platform, we're going to be going into a more of an entertainment base in the evening. But, we're looking, we've got the Ward Scott show right now from 8 to 9:30. Got another great host coming on just after that. John Martin should be teeing up with another great show.
What are these guys going to talk about?
Well, I think it's just current events of the day, and I think a lot of people are throwing around the word news. And, I think
a lot of people put the word fake in front of them. I guarantee you we will have real news on FAIRtax Power Radio.
I think that there will be real reports going out there. I think the gentlemen that we have hosting the morning shows are very well informed, and their ideas they have a really strong opinion. But it is a fair opinion, and that's part of what the fair tax is representing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Excluded as a whole is a message. It's a very 1A, very 2A,
Now, wait a minute. So us senior guys don't know what 1A and 2A means.
Yeah, that'd be the freedom of speech and the second freedom.
First Amendment, Second
Amendment.
Okay,
That's right.
I got you
sorry, we're abbreviating these days in the millennial range, The freedom of speech is our number one proponent. Maybe some people out there that listen to your podcast, they don't even know about what's happened on YouTube recently. YouTube has recently demonetized 90% of their content creators.
Wow,
that is a lot of checks that are no longer being cashed by a lot of different people. So there's a lot of content out there that is being put under scrutiny for several different reasons. That we're not putting down YouTube, and it's YouTube's choice to move into a different market, and that might be what their plan is as a whole. They did it very abruptly, but that is the entertainment business in general, which we all know is subject to change at any time. But what we're trying to do at Excluded is have a voice for those who still want to have a voice for freedom. So you can take that for what it is, but we feel that there's a strong message here at Excluded that will be reigning out, and we'll be rolling out a lot of great different shows. It doesn't just have to do with politicos. It has to do with you guys here at FAIRtax explaining the different underlying messages going on in our country. And there's a lot of different things that people aren't getting necessarily coverage for. And I've listened to a lot of really great speakers recently as a producer here at Excluded, covering a lot of different people. Dinesh D'Souza was there. That was a very interesting talk.
I would like to meet him.
Oh yeah, we interviewed him. You can actually check out a little snippet of the interview we had with him at Excluded. You can go to excluded.com and see Dinesh D'Souza. A little interview we had, and a lot of the ideas that there is a large megaphone on one side of an opinion right now, and Excluded is another megaphone, and it doesn't have to be so big to gain a lot of momentum. So I think from a millennial generation looking up to a generation like yours, I don't know if I'm dating you guys, calling you maybe baby boomers or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll claim
accurate.
that.
Yeah. There's a couple different statistics we can talk about later, tax wise, for that. But I'm reminded of the things that my parents, I had a lot of admiration for. They did a lot of things where they didn't have a megaphone. They did things like sit-ins, and they did things that were nonviolent that didn't even need a speaker or a loudspeaker, and it spoke true. And I feel like a lot of people on that side of the aisle have been holding on to those megaphones and making them louder and brighter for the wrong reasons. And here at Excluded, we've got a voice that is matching what the executive producers have in mind for what they want to see the country hear, and they have put together a great platform to continue the message that they want to have heard and seen. More importantly, seen is a very opportune meaning, because it's one thing to be heard, it's another to actually see things going forward. And in a visual medium that we're in, where everybody's on Facebook, intergalactic, out-of-galactic, Twitter, 5-second clips, it's hard not to lose sight of the fact that you have to compete with the visuals of things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you're taking advantage of the capabilities of the internet. Bob and I have talked about this. One of the reasons the tax code is getting so outdated is because of the gig economy. You've got people that are making a living in ways that were never thought of before. All right? They could be an Uber driver part-time. They could have a dog walking service. They could do house sitting. I know one lady who is a mobile notary public. There's all kinds of things, and it's possible by making these connections on the internet, and that's what you're doing too. So, and that's one reason the income tax doesn't work, is because you got these people that maybe have 5 little mini jobs, put it together to make a good living, and on top of that, they got to keep all these records, for the income tax. Why are we burdening these people with this nonsense? So let the internet help people make a living, and let's get off their back and so forth.
All right, real quickly, somebody out there listening to this program says, gee, I want to avail myself of Excluded's megaphone. How do they get a hold of you? And what kind of process do you have to determine who gets on and who doesn't?
Well, that's a really good question. That's something we're working on as a production team. We're trying to come up with a guided voice, if you will. But, again, at the end of the day, we do want to be entertaining. So there is that fine line of where do we kind of define ourselves as a platform, both as a entertainment and informative platform. And I don't want to use big words like FOX, but I think they do a pretty good job at being very entertaining and also having some very, very relevant content. But I don't want to put us on one side or the other. And I feel that there's a neutral side to everything, and when there's a medium ground for people to speak on, then that kind of brings us forward. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can email me at video@BigDaddyEnterprisesInc.com and just say, hey, Christian Fabiani, I've got some show ideas. Maybe I could run them by you. That's video@BigDaddyInc.com.
Could they send you some video, an audition video?
They could send me an audition video or two. I don't want to quite go full American Idol just yet, but but we're certainly open to some content ideas. We've got some great programming coming forward in the morning hours, and then we're going to have some other shows later in the evening. You guys have already been on the Hank Strange show. That'll be coming out on the Excluded.
Yeah.
And a couple other different programs like that, lifestyle type programs. So it should be a lot of fun. And and again, thank you guys for walking on to the Excluded platform. And we're really excited, and we're ready to run with you as we go into video, coming over from the podcast world. So.
Yeah, that's going to take some adjustment.
Yeah.
we always said we've got faces for radio.
Yeah, we've said that for years, and now here we are. We are very grateful for the opportunity, because Bob and I are passionate about the FAIRtax. I have 7 grandchildren. I've said this before. I don't want them to have to deal with the IRS, although a couple of them are already in college, so it's getting kind of close here. But we are passionate about the FAIRtax, and anything that helps us get the word out or get the image out, in this case, we're glad to be part of it. So we're very grateful for this opportunity. We think it's a great opportunity and a way to expand FAIRtax Power Radio and get more listeners, because it's going to happen when we get a critical mass of citizens demanding the FAIRtax from their Congress critters. Okay, that's when it's going to happen.
All right. So, again, we're looking forward to being on your Excluded platform.
Yes,
again,
sir.
There's excluded.com. You can go there
yes,
and
sir.
get it.
They can check it out right now. Take a little look-see at what we're doing so far.
And then there's an app you can download
there will
to your
be an
smartphone.
App. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that'll be on all the smart devices. And
I've already downloaded the app to my iPad, my iPhone, and my Apple TV.
See, and he's not even a millennial. There you go.
I hadn't got that far yet. I'm working on it. But we'll,
yes, sir. Well, and again, it's going to be 11:30. We're going to do a live recording every other week, and then we're going to have a pre-recorded ready to roll out for the audience. And we'll be, as we come on, we'll let the audience know that we're going to take calls on the live performance time. We'll also have some great interviews, I hope, from some wonderful people, as you guys have assured me.
Got
yes,
some
sir.
great. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you'll be able to see live and in person what we mean by senior moment.
We'll try not to have too many of those, I guarantee you, but we do want to try to keep things on track like we normally do. But we're wrapping up out of time here. Christian, thank you so much again for talking to us here on FAIRtax Power Radio. We are looking forward to working with you on Excluded.
Thank you,
and
gentlemen.
hope everybody out there listening to us on Spreaker and iTunes and iHeart, everywhere else you might be, that you will get the Excluded app. The subscription is really not much at all.
No, sir.
And of course, no commercials.
No commercials.
So
no commercials.
No commercial interruptions.
That's why we don't have a problem with the subscription thing. So we can get this with no commercials and keep. I hate commercials. I used to make my living, punching the button on those commercials. But as a consumer of content, I don't like them much. But that's how that works. Again, we'd like to invite you to send us an email at thefairtaxguys@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Now we're probably not going to be doing we've been doing Facebook Lives like every month. But now that we're going to be on Excluded, we're going to be on Facebook a lot more regular than that.
Yes,
So we won't be.
That's right.
Won't be doing that anymore. So but, this is going to be fun.
It is. I'm really looking forward to this.
We are too at Excluded. Yep. Thank you, gentlemen.
It is. All right. Well, as always, we'd like to remind you to go to PopVox, POPVOX.com. register your support for the fair tax, and tell your Congress critters to quit messing with the tax code. Tell them to get rid of the tax code. We no longer need a tax code that defines what municipal solid waste is. So we need to get rid of all that mess and pass the fair tax, okay? So that's about going to wrap it up for this edition of FAIRtax Power Radio. Again, thanks for being with us, Christian. Thanks you for listening. And as always, we are the FAIRtax Guys. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Molero.
Reminding you that the fair tax is America's big solution, and once you understand it,
you'll demand it.
Fair tax is coming.